everyone, it's Sina here with Art Social Gallery, and today I am extremely excited because we get the opportunity to meet with the one and only talented Purvi Shah. She's an amazing artist right here in the DFW. Purvi, welcome.
Thank you, Sina. I love when you said one and only talented Purvi Shah. That's some introduction.
It's true.
I love it.
It's true, absolutely. Well, Purvi, I'm extremely excited to meet with you today. Of course, you're an artist here. We get the opportunity to display and have your art in front of us every day here at the gallery. But tell me a little bit about your journey. What led you to art and to become an artist?
Well, journey has been long, so we're gonna keep it short a little bit. But before we get into my details and just more about my background, I wanna say thank you. I really, like I said before we started the camera, you and the gallery have a special place in my heart. This is my first gallery representation, and I couldn't have asked for more. Thank you. Thank you for trusting in me.
Yeah, I believe in you. We believe in you. Thank
All
you
right.
so much.
Okay. Well, too much pressure, but we'll go. So my background, born in India, have always been artistic. I remember myself just playing with crayons and color and paper. I would ask my mom to draw something for me, and I would then go in with crayons and color it. That's how my artistic journey started. I have always been a creative. Like I said, I've loved colors, and there was a point in my life where it took a back seat and education was truly at the forefront. I come from an engineering and a management background. I worked Wall Street. I worked for 7 years at Goldman. Before that, I was with a different company. And when I lost my mom in 2021, it was extremely unexpected. And just the grief and processing my grief and going through the emotions of grief led me back to art. And I don't think there's a looking back from here on. I am so fortunate that even through the hardship that I went through a couple years back, I've found my way to art, and it has helped me heal, it has helped me grow as a person, and it's just an outlet for me to talk about my lived experiences. So that's a little bit about baby Purvi to now Purvi.
Wow, that is a beautiful, that's beautiful. And sometimes loss can lead us to our purpose and kind of take us back to our passion. So thanks so much for sharing that.
Thank you.
So one of the things also I noticed, you have a very unique style.
Oh, do
So when I look at your pieces, I could be anywhere. If I saw one of these, I'd be like, okay, Purvi did that.
Okay.
You know, I would know who the artist is. So tell me a little bit about how you developed your unique style when it comes to art.
A lot of experimentation. I would say that out of 100 paintings, I'm just making this number up, but out of 100 paintings, only 2 come out good that I feel confident in, that I would want to show to the world. It's truly just experimentation. I've tried to work with so many different materials, and not just the way the company suggests I use the materials. I've created my own concoction of different, water-soluble colors. A lot of different, like I said, a lot of different materials and experimentation over and over again. That's how I've found my style. You'll see a lot of texture in my work. You'll see oil paints. You'll see just different collages, abstraction, mixed with a little bit of realism. In short, the one word is just experiment. Keep going.
Love that, love that. Now, I know you kind of touched on it a little bit, but having that creative process, right? Before you start a piece, or how do you know, this is what I'm gonna create? Walk me through the creative process of your pieces.
I love that question because it takes, it almost requires me to take a step back and just think through, oh my God, how have I even developed this process? So I love that question. When I think of my process, it all starts with a lived experience. Through my journey, there have been, we all, as we go through our lives, there's some experiences that are unique to you.
Yeah.
There are some experiences that are just shared and they're gonna resonate with a lot of different people. So it all starts with a lived experience, an emotion, and a feeling. And for me, what I've noticed in the past few months is the inspiration it's just there. And if I don't grab it at the right time, it's gone.
Love
So
that.
starting with what's the emotion, what am I feeling, what's the lived experience I want to communicate, that's how it starts. And then I go into writing. It's not a very calculated process in that it's not that I'm going to just take a book and a pen and start writing. One fine morning, I'm just going to write a poem or a free verse, and that will help me think about, oh, okay, this is what's coming to me. This is something that I would want to communicate. And I then go to my best friend, Pinterest, and scroll a little bit, because as I scroll through some pictures, the vision starts forming in my head. I now, after months of experimentation, have a good idea of my aesthetic. So even as I'm scrolling through Pinterest and I'm looking at different images, somehow I can visualize them in my aesthetic on a canvas.
Wow.
When I started my art practice last year, I would approach it with very defined sources. I would use different images. I would use apps like Pixelmator or Procreate. I would create a source, and then I would go into painting. What I found with that was it was a little bit restrictive in that I had envisioned something and I just wanted to, I myself was putting myself in a box, and I didn't want to do that. So now, once I have the feeling, the emotion, once I have some writing down, once I've looked at some of the images, I now have a good idea of my aesthetic. And I feel confident that once I put the brush onto the canvas, that's what's going to come out. So that essentially is my creative process.
That's a fantastic creative process, by the way. And I love that you are waiting to feel that emotion in order to put it on the canvas, right? And I think that is extremely important when it comes to art, because now you have the story to tell behind each piece. How are you feeling during that moment? What influenced you to put that on this particular canvas? So I absolutely love that. I mean, and you kind of included the writing portion of it.
Yeah.
That's amazing. And Pinterest, I mean, that's everyone's best friend.
That's everyone's favorite. Yeah, and I love the fact that every painting comes with its own poem and a free verse.
Yes.
So either the poem is going to be for a specific painting, or it's going to be across multiple paintings, which I end up calling a collection or a series. And it just helps, I mean, well, that's my hope, that it helps the viewer connect with the work even more.
And it absolutely does, because even referring back to one of the pieces that you sold here at the gallery, luckily that was a day that you happened to be here, and the buyer completely first gravitated towards the piece because it was breathtaking, first of all.
Thank you.
And then secondly, when you were able to kind of tell the story behind that piece and talk about it, I 100% agree with that, because there's a connection that now every time that buyer looks at that piece that's in their home, they're able to remember that, they're able to know the story behind it, and they appreciate the art. So wonderful job on that.
Thank you.
I think that is absolutely amazing. Now, of course, as artists, we're all inspired by someone, right? Another artist or whoever, it could be an influencer. Tell me about any artist or anyone in your life that kind of influences your artwork or that you kind of look up to.
I'll start with people in my life who have influenced me, and they're all very strong women, all of them. Starting with my mom, my grandmom. My mom was a single mother, so her lived experiences also translate into my paintings, because obviously she's taught me so much. I was raised by my grandmom when my mom would go to work, and my grandmom was an extremely strong woman herself. So they've just shaped me to be who I am. So I draw a lot of inspiration from them. And then throughout my journey, be it corporate, be it just my friend circle, parents of my friends, I've met so many strong women. So they definitely have an influence on me for sure. And subconsciously, it comes through in all the work that I do. I may not be able to pinpoint that, oh, this particular painting, resonates back to X, Y, and Z, but it's just there. There is a piece of them that's in all my work. As I think of artists, I started when I started with my professional art journey, I was impressed, almost mesmerized by Ellie Milan. I mean, her work is beautiful.
Yeah.
The way she does abstraction, yet her pieces have that tightness, that crispness.
Yeah.
It's amazing. I love it. And now that I've spent time exploring and experimentation by myself, and now that I've known some more artists, not personally, but just through social media, I want to say there's an artist named Rosso. She is UK based.
Okay.
I love her work.
Really? I'll have to look her up.
Oh my God, I love her work. And you will see some of the influence from her work into my work now, the work that I'm doing.
Yeah.
The way she does her background, it's layers and layers of materials and colors. And then the women that she paints, it's a beautiful mix of abstract and realism.
Yeah.
And I love it. And the other artist that I've fallen in love with, he's Chris Luca.
Okay.
He is a Dutch artist, minimal, clean lines, and just so moody. And I personally, I'm a minimalist.
Okay.
Not when I talk, but in everything else in my life. So I'm a minimalist, and I just have gravitated towards this juxtaposition of crazy chaos, but something super clean when it comes to your subject. And I think that's going to be visible in my work. When you look at the subject, it's the classic oil paint, it's the clean lines, and everything else is just the scribbles. And
I mean,
yeah.
it's gorgeous. It's gorgeous. And it was one thing for me also I want to bring up. When I saw your work originally on social media, I was like, man, it looks good, right? But when you brought it in here to the gallery, it was literally breathtaking. I was like, I have to have these pieces on the showroom floor. They're gorgeous. They have like this realistic look. And then, like you mentioned, the texture in each piece is gorgeous. And then the backgrounds, the abstract, and then we won't even get to like all the beautiful stories behind them. So I'll like compliment you over and over over on that, because
you're kind. Thank
I can tell that you take your time. I can tell that you, like every stroke, you take your time.
Thank you.
And you're wonderful at doing the hands.
I love painting the hands.
I want to make sure I bring that up, because
I
that
love
is
painting
not an
hands.
easy thing to master. It's like the fingers and the hands, so you're doing a fantastic job on that.
Thank you.
So I know you kind of jumped into like your influencers and people that inspire you, but there's also like a theme to your work. Can you tell me about that process, the theme, and behind all those pieces?
Yeah, and again, I love that question as well, because it brings it needs me to go back and think about where I started and where I am right now. Initially, when I started painting, I had no idea why I was painting what I was painting, or I had no idea why I was drawn to certain subjects or elements and not the others. At that point, again, I was just trying to communicate the feeling and the emotion. As I've spent time with my work and just myself in solitude, I've realized that my work truly is about three things. And I don't want to box it. It's right now. It tries to, play with three themes. There's so much within ourselves. So we have to explore the world within ourselves. In this day and age with social media and so much noise that goes around us,
ton.
It's so easy to be influenced, again, subconsciously. You don't even know, but you're being fed that information, and you're pulling that in and you're rethinking it. So just taking time, trying to understand yourself. What do you want? Where's your happiness? That's one. And the other two go hand in hand. They're more about audacity and anti-fragility. So it took me a little bit to understand why anti-fragility was the one that was sticking with me and not resilience. Because resilience is, and I got this from the book, I have to just mention that. It's called Ikigai.
Okay.
It's a Japanese way of living, and it's a whole book. I absolutely love that book. I pretty much read that book once every 6 months.
Oh, wow.
That's how much
Okay.
I love it. And I get fresh nuggets from it every time. So for me, I mean, resilience is, you can withstand adversity. You can withstand difficult times and circumstances. But in my life, every time I've gone through a difficult circumstance, I've come out stronger from it. And that's anti-fragility. Like, you're withstanding the troubles, but then you're coming out better.
Yeah.
You're coming out more evolved as a human being than anything else, which is why I feel that truly, comes through in my work. Like the last 3 collections that I worked on, Deep Within, these 2 pieces are from that, and they talk about how you've got to look within and not find validation elsewhere. The one that I did after that was Change is the Only Constant. You have some pieces here in the gallery.
Yeah.
Change truly is the only constant. You've got to embrace the change and you have to move on. Life does not come with a manual. The sooner you accept it, the better it's going to be. And it took me some time, but I got it in the end. And then the latest one that I did was illusion that we call perfection. Perfection is an illusion.
Yeah.
Nothing is perfect. Imperfection is what makes me me, it's what makes you you, and we have to embrace that.
I love
So-
that. I couldn't agree more.
Yeah.
And I mean, I just love the way that I have so much to say, but I love the way that you have put everything that you've kind of went through into your art. And not a lot of people are able to do that, right? The loss of your mom, and then also all of the women that are in your family or that have just been around you in your circle have influenced your artwork, and it reflects in your pieces. And so I know in general, life happens to all of us, right? And sometimes it's extremely hard, especially as a creative, to kind of get over that. You can even go into a dark place.
Yeah.
But you instead, you're reading books that are helping you in your everyday life, and then you're throwing it into your art. And so that kind of puts me to the topic to talk a little bit about challenges, right? As an artist, it can be challenging. It is not the easiest industry to commit yourself to, but sometimes it's like when you love something so much and you're passionate about something so much, and of course you have a lot of emotion behind your beautiful pieces. Talk to me about like some of the challenges that you have had to overcome as an artist, especially working independently as an artist.
Yes, challenges, wow. I am my worst critic, my worst enemy. The things I tell myself, oh my God, I would never tell those to my best friend. So the biggest challenge for me is not seek, like I said, we should never seek validation elsewhere. And I am practicing that actively on a daily basis. I consciously make an effort to not seek validation from social media. I've had to accept the fact that the piece that I create, it's going to be good and it's going to be bad. Some people are gonna like it, some people are not gonna like it, and that's okay. As long as I love it and I've enjoyed the process, it's a win.
Yeah.
Resistance is another challenge for me, where I'm thinking through things in my own head and I'm having difficulty just dealing with life on some days, and the resistance kicks in. That's one challenge probably a lot of artists deal with as well. The way I overcome it is just getting back in the studio. No matter what is going on, I'm in the studio at least for 2 hours every single day.
I love that.
And yes, I experience resistance when I'm going in, but the moment I start playing with my colors and my mixed materials, it's great. The other challenge is I think it would be a miss if I don't talk about money.
Yeah.
It's a sensitive topic. Not a lot of people want to talk about money. I don't know why. It's the currency that we need to live in this day and age, so it's important that we talk about it. I do not want this to sound worse, but money is important.
Yeah, it is. It's a necessity.
It's a necessity. Gone are those days where you could be a caveman and just go out and hunt and live and do what your heart desired. Gone are those days. As an artist, so I'm an independent artist right now. I quit my full-time job back in April, so I've been doing art full-time for a few months. And it's important for artists to understand that as much as it is important for you to follow your heart and your dream, it's also important for you to be rooted in reality.
Yes.
So if anyone is trying to become full-time or go into this full-time, think about the financial challenges that you will have to embrace. Plan for it. Consider your risk appetite. How much can you invest in your work? Do you have enough saved to actually live your life the way you want to? And you don't, I'm not saying that you need a ton of money. You don't, but it is an important factor to consider. I would say those are, in a nutshell, the three challenges: validation, resistance, and the challenge with, finances.
And I really appreciate you being open and honest, because as you mentioned, that is a very touchy topic. And I'm so glad that you brought it up today as far as the financial side of things. Because as I mentioned to you earlier, sometimes we just want to follow our heart. We just want to do what we're good at, and we just want to share it with the world. But one of the things I'll say is, as an artist, I don't feel that it's, you shouldn't put the pressure on yourself of quitting your day job to pursue art. You don't have to quit your day job to pursue what you love. One of the things I've mentioned before, and I'll say this again, to even just as an entrepreneur and other people that are out there pursuing business, even outside of art, keep your day job if you have to, right? Because you can use that to fund your business. So, you're working your job in order to get to where you really want to be. And so I also feel like when you quit everything, you're so worried about the money, and it can definitely be influenced in your artwork. So I applaud you for saying that, but I also give you a ton of respect, because when I first met you, you were like, yes, I quit my job and I'm going full time. And I was like, I admire that, because again, as I mentioned, art is not the easiest thing. So amazing. Thanks for bringing that up. Any artist that's out there listening, if you're thinking about quitting your job, if you don't have a plan, I would recommend having like at least 12 months or a 24-month plan and financial backing before doing that. Because if not, you're going to put a ton of pressure on your work in general. So first, a little bit, we have this beautiful collection here, and I have a few more questions for you. But tell me a little, we talked about it a little bit, but tell me about this particular collection, maybe each one of these pieces, and kind of a short story behind it.
Sure. So this piece and the piece right behind me here, they're from the collection Deep Within. Essentially, the collection, like I said before, it's about finding peace within yourself, being content with yourself, and not seeking validation, everything material from elsewhere. Everything that you're looking for is within you. And this particular piece, even though it's from a different collection, it's from Gleaming in Glory, But as fate had it, this painting is called Inward is the Only Way Out.
Wow.
So it just happened to be the same theme.
Yeah.
But really, if you can't really sit with yourself, if you can't really have an honest conversation with yourself, like, what are you good at? Everyone has flaws. What are your flaws? What do you really need to work on to evolve as a human?
Yeah.
I don't know what else you could do in the world. So inward is the only way out. But
Love that.
clearly there's a theme going on here.
I love that. It's absolutely gorgeous, by the way. I mean, they're breathtaking, and they're available here at our gallery. So, so tell me about what you're working on currently. I know that you're always working on something, and I'm
Yes.
always excited to see. So tell me what you're currently working on.
So right now I have a couple pieces that I'm conceptualizing. So I'm still experimenting. I'm still testing out few things because I want to push the boundary with my own art.
Okay.
So I mentioned this to you. I am a minimalist.
Yeah.
And what I'm trying to get to as the next step in my art is communicating the most with the least brushstrokes.
Okay.
So how can I still tell my story of anti-fragility and audacity in the least brushstrokes possible? So
Interesting.
the pieces that you're gonna see next they still will have women figures,
Yeah.
but they will be done a little bit differently in that I may not completely do the hair. I may not completely do their outfit.
Okay.
And the backgrounds will continue to be very textured, but I'm again trying to push the boundary with the colors that I use in the background. So it's along the same theme, it's along the same narrative, the storytelling, but it's gonna have slightly different look and feel,
Okay.
but still along the same lines.
Wow. Well, I'm definitely looking forward to that. Definitely looking forward to that. And how do you see yourself evolving as an artist? Like, if you could just paint the perfect picture, you know, even if it's the next 2 years or so, like, how would you like to see yourself evolve as an artist?
Wow, that's a great question, and you're giving me some food for thought.
Yeah.
The way I see myself is I don't want to put myself in a box. So all is open. What I know for sure is I want to create every single day. And I want to create from my heart.
Love that.
I may evolve to create some pieces where I push the boundary even more. Again, that will come through as I try more and more things.
Yeah.
There's one thing that keeps coming to me is amalgamating my roots with my art. So I was born in India, I'm a South Asian. I want to find a way to combine some parts of my upbringing and my roots into my artwork. It's not very visible. It's very subtle in that it's there, it exists as part of the themes, but not very visually.
Okay.
So that's something that I'm thinking through. The breakthrough hasn't happened yet, but I will keep trying.
I love that. I love that. And that's a good question too, because it kind of like forces you to think about the unknown, right? Yeah. And you don't have to think, and I always tell people, like, you know, that 5-year plan where folks are like, what is your 5-year plan? Well, to me, it can be a 6-month plan because you're slowly evolving. Every 6 months, there's a different version of yourself.
I mean, I was telling you right before this podcast, 5-year plan. I mean, girl, I quit my job 6 months thinking I'm not going to go back in here.
Exactly.
And I'm thinking maybe I should consider going back and taking up a part-time job or something. Like you said, I couldn't agree more.
Yeah.
I have never been this version of myself before. I am also figuring it out. I don't have everything figured out. If you ask me my 5-year plan, I don't know.
Yeah.
And some people may not really appreciate this, and that's okay, but I don't think I'm at a point where I can have a 5-year plan or a 2-year plan perfectly laid out. I have bigger, like a broader vision,
Yeah.
but the smaller steps that I'm taking every few months, I know they will help me get to my final vision, but there's no plan written down for
I
me.
am all about that. I am all about that because living and enjoying the moment
Yeah.
that is current, right? Because make the most of that moment.
Yeah.
Like every single moment, let's make the most of it, and that contributes to our growth long term. So I'm really excited about your growth and your journey as an artist. I'm really excited to have you here,
Thank
a
you.
part of the gallery as well. And then another question too that I kind of want to close out with.
Yeah.
Because I know there are a lot of artists, new artists, people that are thinking about being creative, or people that just are creating in their garage at home and not posting it, and no
Yeah.
one knows about these amazing artists out there. What advice would you give someone that is looking to become an artist, or maybe an artist that is currently an artist, maybe they're struggling? Like any advice that you would give any up-and-coming artists or current artists that may be having some challenges right now?
Yeah, I love it. Seek a mentor. Ask if, just try and network, seek for a mentor. I was fortunate to have some really good mentors through my art journey. I couldn't recommend that more.
Mentors. Okay.
Mentors, seek mentors.
Yeah.
A lot of people, I have literally messaged someone who I met once, and I love their work. I went to their website, read their bio. I messaged them on Instagram saying, I love everything that you do. Your story really resonates with me.
Yeah.
Would you be okay mentoring me?
Yeah.
And they were okay with it. So you won't find, you will rarely find people who will say no to you
Yeah.
if they're passionate about the craft. Like you'll
that.
rarely find people who will say no. So seek mentors, and don't be scared to put what you're creating on social media.
Yeah.
I say that, but I deal with self-doubt every single day. That's when I reach out to my mentors and my close people, that, hey, this is what I'm feeling, I'm not really sure. They have faith in me, they have confidence in me. You need that confidence boost. Elsewhere within you, everything helps. But put your work out there, put yourself out there. People want to connect with your story as much as they want to connect with your art.
I love that.
So those are the two things that I would say.
Very powerful, very powerful. So first of all, thank you. It's been a pleasure. Your story is amazing, and there's so much more to you. There is so much more, and so I'm excited to continue on this journey that we have together. But tell everyone where they can find you, where they can follow you, if you want to share that with everyone today.
Yeah, well, if you liked this conversation, follow Sina on Instagram, the Art Social Gallery. Follow me on Instagram. You can find me with the handle Art by Purvi Shah. I'm also on my website, artbypurvishah.com. So I'm available on social. You can always message me. I love connecting with people. I'm very personable, so hit me up.
Awesome, thank you so much. All right, everyone, thank you so much for tuning in. But before we go, I would like to say these beautiful pieces are here at our gallery in Plano, Texas, Art Social Gallery. If you see a piece here that you're extremely interested in and you're like, I have to have one of these, you can also call us at 214-862-1040 to inquire about one of these pieces. But again, thank you for tuning in to Art Social Gallery. Make sure to follow our YouTube, Art Social Gallery, and then follow us on Instagram, @social_gallery. And we look forward to seeing you on the next episodes.